Today we're going to be talking about the enhanced risk severe storms outlined by the SPC for Thursday, April 25th, 2024, affecting the areas of the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and south central Kansas. This is going to be due to an upper level disturbance moving into the area on Thursday. Currently, the upper level disturbance today, Tuesday evening, is off the coast of California, a few hundred miles off the coast of California. This upper level disturbance is going to be moving east by the time it gets to Thursday. So currently, it's off the map right here, Friday evening, Tuesday evening. But once you get to Thursday evening, these stronger winds aloft are going to be affecting the area outlined by the SPC here of western Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and south central Kansas. And like always, starting off at the surface, looking at our dew points for that day, we see that the area that affected is going to have plenty of dew points, up to 65 to 60 dew points for the evening. Now, currently, now this is 2 days in advance, but currently we have 60 dew points going all the way up into Oklahoma, into central Oklahoma. And right now, you can see the 0 C sounding for Oklahoma. You can see we have 60 dew points at the surface, extending up to 1 kilometer up into the air. So right now, Tuesdays before the storm event, we already have good soundings. We have good moisture depth going up to 1 kilometer up into the atmosphere, and we have good dew points right now. So those dew points that are already in place at the time we get to Thursday have been there for 2 days waiting for this storm to arrive. Here's your upper level trough. Now, going to the surface here at 0 Z on Friday, so 7 p.m. Thursday, here you have an upper level low. You have a low level low right here in Colorado. Now, you have your warm front extending from that here. You can see the temperature difference, warm front. You have in the south, you have 70s. In the north, you have 53. So here's your warm front, your dew point. Here's your dry line, dividing your air of dry air to the west with humid air to the east. So this is going to be your area affected. You're going to be looking at. Now, like I said, here's your upper level disturbance. You have 50 knot winds at 500 millibars. So this is going to provide your lifting right here. Now your low level jet around this time. You also have plenty of low level jet right here, 35 knots right in the area. So you have plenty of low level jet, which is important for tornadoes. So we take some soundings along the dry line. If your storm is expected to form along the dry line, let's check the shear levels. And here's your wind, your shear level vectors. And you can see that they're perpendicular to your dry line, meaning that we should expect discrete storms, storms that are isolated by themselves, which are going to be favorable for tornadoes. Now, if we take some soundings along the dry line, we just expect your area, we should take some here in south central Kansas, one in western Oklahoma, and maybe one in the Panhandle, which is your area outlined by the SPC. So here's a sounding for the Texas Panhandle. Here you have 64 over 72. Your moisture depth is not as high as it is right now. But here's your moisture depth right now for an area in Texas. And this is expected to improve over time, but because you're getting dry air coming in from, if you check the 850 dew points, which is probably the reason why, 850 dew points. You see you have your area of dry air, you have winds coming into the Panhandle, which is lowering your moisture depth, but this seems adequate for tornadoes. But here's another problem. You have a warm nose here depicted by the NAM. You have a warm nose, which is going to prevent storms from forming if they can't get past this warm nose. You see how storms are going to be going up here, but then they're getting blocked by this warm nose, your red line shaped like a nose. So your warm nose is blocking those storms, capping the environment. Here's your convective emission in the 80s and plus. And it looks here, it says Here for the NAM is showing low level stability. So even though we do have an adequate photograph for tornadoes, so if storms are going to form here, it's going to be most likely hail storms because these storms are going to be elevated. Here's your LLC. Usually want this less than 2,000. Here it's going to be your LFC is over 2,000. Here's a 2,500. So if storms are going to be forming, then they're going to be most likely elevated. You know, severe hail of over 2 inches or larger. Here is Western Oklahoma. Same problem. It's also depicting a warm nose in the area. Now the problem with the NAM is that usually it has low temperatures. Here it has a 69 surface temperature. If I change this sounding for the GFS, which is usually better with temperatures, this is around Woodward, Oklahoma, 7 p.m. The temperature is actually going to be around 72. So the hotter we could get the temperature, this warm nose is not going to be as big of a issue. So a lot of these, the NAM specifically is showing, the NAM is showing a lot of stability in the low levels and a warm nose across the whole sector that we're looking at. Warm nose here, warm nose here. You know where the warm nose is basically the area where the blue line, the red line is going to the right of the blue line. So here you have your warm nose. You know the red line is going to the right of the blue line. Here you have the warm nose, right of the blue line, right of the blue line. So this whole area might be capped. So it's going to be more of a hail threat than a tornado threat if we believe the NAM, which is showing low surface temps. If we change all of these to the GFS, like I only changed that one, but if I change all of these to the GFS, the warm nose is not as strong, but they all have low level instability. So an issue for Thursday could be that the environment could be too capped, not providing, and there could be too much low level stability that the storms are not going to be able to be as strong as they could be. At least not tornadic storms. This could be a good environment for hailstorms, but not tornadoes. If we go to that's 7 p.m. Thursday. If we go to 10 p.m. Thursday and take soundings, let me erase these soundings. If we take soundings in a similar area of Western Oklahoma, South Central Kansas, and Texas Panhandle. Instead of 7 p.m., now we're looking at 10 p.m. Thursday. Now here's a way better environment. Here we're getting 85 3 Cape, which is more favorable for tornadoes. We still have a warm nose, but we could still get storms out of this. This is and your photographs increase. Your photographs get way larger, making it more favorable for tornadoes. Here this is South Central. First one was where? Here's in Texas Panhandle, South Central, Kansas. You're getting 2,000 Cape. This is not that high yet, and for Western Oklahoma, you still get at 10 p.m. You still have that strong warm nose. If I change it to the GFS for here too, we can see what they tell us. Also warm nose on the GFS. These are convective allowing models. NAM 3K showing a warm nose, so I don't expect. Here is Thursday at 7 p.m. It's not showing much strong storms in the area that's enhanced by the SPC. It's not showing anything. The HRW 7 p.m. It is showing storms in South Central Kansas. Take a sounding next to them. Here's low level stability, and here's low level jets not strong enough. So this is more of a hail environment. If I take the RFS 0Z, RFS is more favorable for storms. Here you have a PDS tornado. Even though the low levels are not unstable for tornadoes, but here you don't have a warm nose. Your temperatures are in the 70s, in the mid to high 70s, and the NAM had them in the low 60s. So right now it's only the RFS that's showing you mid 70s. If we get temperatures in mid 70s, then we can start talking tornadoes. But so right now we have, is what SPC is saying. Severe thunderstorms are likely from late Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Very large hail, but it's also predicting strong tornadoes will all be possible. Now, strong tornadoes will be possible if you could maintain, if you could get that warm nose to not be as strong as it's showing right now. Once we get closer to the day, so Thursday morning, I'll get another video out. But for right now, it is showing mostly a hail environment, mostly a large hail environment for this area. If storms could form, you know, if the RFS is to believe, we could have large hail in this area, and tornadoes are going to be conditional on the fact that we could get that warm nose not to be as strong as it's currently being forecasted. So yeah, this is all for today. I have another video on Thursday morning, and that's for Thursday morning. And we also have another. This could be a multi-day event where we already have a day 4 outlook and a day 5 and a day 6. This is kind of so, but it all depends. All these, the further you get out, the more inaccurate or less like, the more inaccurate is going to be in forecasting the storms after this, because all the storms are going to be dependent on what happens the day before. So right now I'm going to be focusing on the Thursday storm and see how that happens. But for right now, I'll say that the biggest risk is going to be for large hail, definitely large hail. This for the enhanced area, and tornadoes are going to be conditional, at least for right now, currently forecasted.